What's up, guys? Jack here. This is my first video just face to face like this. Normally I do vlogs, and on Instagram I make like philosophical kind of content, but I thought that I basically had a lot of people in my comments and DMing me asking for longer form videos, so like this, and kind of just me talking. I don't really know why, but I'm gonna go ahead and give it a try. I already kind of journal a little bit, so I feel like this could be a cooler way of documenting that. I'm not super great at talking to the camera. I like doing voiceovers a lot more, so bear with me during this kind of first test run of it. But I really want to talk about young men getting buzz cuts. As you can see, I have a buzz cut. I just got my buzz cut about 2 days ago, less than like a day and a half ago. And I mean, if you're anywhere near my age, 15 to like 25, 30 even, there's a lot of kids, a lot of young men getting buzz cuts, and I think that it represents something a little more than, just wanting to buzz your hair. Obviously, for the average person, it makes you look worse. Definitely made me look worse. And so I think there's a little more behind getting the buzz cut. And so I have some notes here just on my computer screen. Again, I'm not first time really talking to the camera. I'm sure I'll get better at it, more fluid, not really needing to read notes or anything, but it's just here to kind of guide me along. But the first note I have is that the second that I buzzed my hair, there's a lot of nerves, obviously, and I didn't really. I would say that appearance-wise, I'm decently confident, and I don't really care too much about if I look bad or if I look good. But right whenever I buzzed my hair, I just had this weird feeling in my gut, and it made me just kind of feel, scared and nervous, and not in a way of like you're doing something scary, you're doing something sketchy, but just like it's just a large change. I've never had a buzz cut in my life since I was born. I never had a buzz cut. I know a lot of the young kids do, but my hair was always super long, and so I wanted to get my buzz cut in sort of a way to take control of my life. And I think that that's why a lot of kids do it, right? The world you're growing up in from 16 to 25, a lot of decisions are made for you. Where you go to school, where you live, the job market, the cost of living, really everything. You don't really get to make your own decision until, I guess, if you pick a college or I guess a job, but even that's limited. You don't have a lot of experience when you're young, so there's only certain jobs you can get into. And I mean, you can pick how you dress as well, but there's trends there. And I feel like whenever young men buzz their hair, they're making a conscious decision themselves to do something different and to almost take control of their life again, take back control. And being young, especially in today's age with social media, it's internalized to not really stand out. I think that blending into the background, the whole nonchalant epidemic, it's become so popular to the point where if someone looks minorly different, whether they're wearing something different, whether their hair is a different color, whether they have a piercing and a weird piercing, like they're immediately just so different. And it's obviously been like that through history. Like when hippies came around, there was kind of a evolution of being different, but I think we've kind of gone back to not being different and kind of being clones of one another because it's comfortable. Alright, so that was just a short introduction. Now I'm going to kind of move on to my talking points. First is the psychology behind it. There's actually something real going on psychologically with the whole idea of buzzing your hair. Psychologists talk a lot about this idea called locus of control. It's basically whether you feel like you are driving your life or whether life is just coming at you. And when your locus of control feels external, when it feels like everything is determined by outside forces, it creates anxiety, and it creates this low level stress that just sits in the background of everything. And you don't really notice it's there, but it's just kind of buzzing in your head, and something just feels off. I think like everyone has experienced it. You can't really pinpoint it, but like something just feels weird. And one way humans naturally combat it is by doing something deliberate. For example, going on, a trip, just doing something different. Somewhere where you make a choice and you immediately see the result of the choice, like a midlife crisis kind of thing. Buzzing your head is obviously one of those. It's visible, it's immediate. You make the call, you do it right then and there, you look in the mirror and the result's right in front of you. There's no uncertainty, you're not waiting for anything. You chose to do something, you did it, and now you live with the result. And so now I kind of want to move on to what it did for me personally. It honestly didn't feel that weird, right, when I got the buzz cut. Like, I had thought about getting a buzz cut for so long, like since I was honestly like a sophomore in high school. I'm a sophomore, I'm about to be a junior in college now, and I just never pulled the trigger because it just felt like, what's the point? Like, I'm just gonna be missing hair, like I'm gonna be wishing I had my hair back. It didn't feel like, it just felt like kind of stupid to me at the time. But I always kind of wanted to do it in the back of my head. And growing up, I was really small. I hit puberty extremely late. Like, going into my freshman year of high school, I was under 5 feet tall. I'm like 5'10" now. So, like, I was just late. Like, I wasn't short. Like, my dad's 6'2". Like, I wasn't meant to be short. I was just really late. My voice was squeaky, high pitched. Everyone going into high school had kind of like matured already. And I wasn't really taken serious in a lot of things in sports. My sport was basketball. I just got really good at like ball handling and shooting basically everything I could. When I got to high school, everyone was way taller. It was really hard for me. And I just felt like I had less presence compared to other people. And you can't decide to grow. You can't force yourself to grow. And so I would kind of look for like being seen in other ways, specifically like creative ways. So drawing, creating, learning like creative skills, graphic design, video making, building things with my hands and my mind, because that was the place that I felt like comfortable and where I had power. And what I put in, I actually got out. I actually got better at it, like physically right in front of me. And it was honestly one of the best things that ever happened to me. It taught me early on that you can't really control the external and you can't control everything. You build your identity from the inside and then it flows. Again, the idea of life is coming from you and not at you. Buzzing my head was definitely somewhat of an extension of it. The same mindset, years later. It was me deciding I want a change. I want to look different. I want to remind myself that I am in control of my own life. And yeah, that's kind of all I gotta say there. Moving on to my next talking point, I kind of want to talk about where it can be misinterpreted. You know what? This is stupid. I don't even really get what I was saying here. I read the script yesterday, so I'm actually gonna skip this part. I'll talk about it a little bit. In a lot of cultures, hair is very it's very special. You know, a lot of people think in specifically Indian cultures that your hair holds value and it holds karma and it holds it's just very important in short. And whenever you buzz it, you're basically not necessarily restarting, but it helps with your karma. So I forgot, I don't remember exactly, but I know that there's a culture, there's a religion in India where monks, they physically pluck each one of their hairs out because the pain fixes their bad karma. And obviously, you know, I think in Western society, that's not the reason you're doing it. But I think that it does somewhat carry over. You know, having a lot of hair, you're seen more as like a pretty boy, I guess. I don't, you know, like, you kind of get what I'm saying. But whenever you remove that, you're more like yourself. I feel like you're more just like, you're not hiding behind anything. I feel like with my hair, my hair made me a slight like more attractive, and by cutting it off, you're just revealing, you know, your face, how you look, and I think that that's kind of getting rid of false pretenses, I guess. Like, you're just being completely genuine face to face with everyone you talk to. This is my face. I'm not hiding behind my hair. You can see why I removed it. It doesn't really make a lot of sense. Okay. Next talking point. The masculine simplicity thing is what I wrote. Okay. There's something happening culturally right now with young men and this idea of simplicity. Getting back to the basics, cutting out the noise, you know, locking into your morning routine. And I think the buzz is kind of a symbol of that. It's anti-performative. It is kind of performative though. Like, I was talking with my girlfriend about this. Before I actually got the buzz, I got a really short haircut where I still had some hair on the top, and I didn't like the haircut at all. And I was just thinking, my haircut looks really bad, and I'm kind of embarrassed to go out in public with this haircut because people are gonna see me and they're gonna think, this dude got a chopped ass haircut. Like, his hair sucks. And I was just thinking, I want to just buzz it, because if I buzz it, then they'll be thinking, you know, oh, he just buzzed his hair. Like, oh, he just buzzed it. And it was almost less embarrassing to just have a buzz than to have a bad haircut, because it's such a thing to buzz your hair. You know, you and all your boys are like, yo, let's buzz our hair. You all buzz your hair. And then it's just less of a thing. And I think that there is a distinction between, you know, just buzzing your hair and then the idea behind buzzing it and why you want to buzz it. And some people definitely do like buzz it and bleach it just for, you know, it's trending. But I think if you are genuinely doing it with the right intent in mind, you just have the urge and you just do it, then I think that's a lot different. But back to this. In a world where everything is curated and filtered and optimized for how it looks to other people, buzzing your head is almost opting out of the game. You're not trying to have the perfect hair, you're not styling it for an hour, you're just you, raw, unfiltered. And there's a confidence that comes from that, not the fake confidence of, you know, looking good, the real confidence of not needing to, because you're confident in yourself and your personality and what you bring to the world. Something I don't think that people talk about enough is the ritual aspect. A lot of guys describe buzzing their head as almost a ceremonial thing. Like they were going through something, a breakup, a chapter ending, you know, maybe you wanted to lock into the gym or something, and they buzzed their head to mark it. And I think that's very, very human. You know, humans have always used physical transformation to mark internal transitions. Every culture in history, you know, whether it's a tattoo, whether it's, you know, buzzing your head, whether it's a change to your body, whether it's an event or like a ceremony or ritual, when you buzz your head, you're kind of telling yourself and the world that you're not the same guy that you were yesterday. Something shifted, a new version is walking out of, you know, the bathroom after you buzz your head. And sometimes you need that Sometimes the physical act of doing something is what makes the mental shift real. What it taught me about my identity. Here's the thing I keep coming back to. Your identity, the real one, not the one built on how you look or what people think of you. It has to be built from the inside. It has to be built on what you do, what you create, who you are to others, who you are when no one is watching. The guys who feel the most lost right now are the ones waiting for something external to define them. A new job title, getting into their dream school, the right body, the perfect girlfriend, the right era of life where things feel settled. That era doesn't come, or at least it doesn't come from the outside. And I think that's why something as simple as buzzing your head can feel so significant. Not because hair matters, but because the act of making a deliberate choice, of deciding something about yourself on your own terms, is a practice. It's a muscle. The more you exercise it, it's literally like the more you exercise it, the more you realize that you actually have more control than you think. Making conscious decisions, if you keep doing it every day, if you wake up and you don't say, oh, I have to brush my teeth because that's just what you do. No, I'm brushing my teeth because of this reason. I'm making this breakfast because I want to be healthier. I'm driving to work 10 minutes early because I want to get in a good routine. I want to impress my boss. I want to be a good coworker to my peers. The more that you exercise it, the more you realize that you are in control of your own life, and it stops feeling just like busy work and like you're a slave, and that, again, life is coming at you. Not over the big things, not over the economy or how people or other people or how the cards were dealt, but over who you decide to be inside of all of that, over how you show up, over what you build, create, and put into the world. That's where the real power is. Now, to end this video, I've been yapping for like 12 minutes, 13 minutes. Let's wrap it up. If you buzzed your head recently, or you've been thinking about it, or you just watched a bunch of videos of guys doing it at 2 a.m., corny motivation stuff, you're picking up on it. It's not about the hair. It's about the feeling that you can make a move, that you're not just being carried by the... It's about the feeling that you... It's about the feeling that you can make a move, that you're just not being carried by the current, that you have a say in who you're becoming. And honestly, that's one of the most important realizations a young man can have. Start there, build from there. And yeah, the buzz cut looks clean too. Nah, this shit does not look clean, bro. We chop butter cheese, but y'all get the vision. Buzz that head. If you want to, if you ain't feeling it, you don't do it. You gotta have the urge. It's just something you gotta do. You just get the feeling and you do it. But I got a buzzed head now. I'm probably gonna keep doing these videos. They're low-key nice, relaxing, good way for me to explain my ideas. If you did like it, please leave a like, so I know that you like it. Comment works too. And yeah, I'll see you guys next video.